La Cheva Sho Yidam Guru Ramendra La Kanya Dayamin.
Tsongkhapa says it is possible to use emptiness as the object when developing shamatha. How would you describe the object you would use? What does it look like to the consciousness apprehending it? In the case of emptiness, how can you determine whether you have the correct object in mind instead of a mistaken one? 신이 두 토니 mikpa yorba. 아니 mikpa 간에서 요래스. mikpa 토니 신이 mikpa 토니 간에 요래스. 저기도 디 토니 디 신이 mikpa이나 디 토니 디 낭초 간에서 레스.
돈이 다 이게 가서로 자진 휴원한 신세니 아니 리발을 때네 가제 줘와 까가네 로 가제 줘와 까점지다 에 메가데라 돈이 시거래 로 내가 가제 줘와 대까 가야고 가르스 가서 현라랑 말하지바 다데 로 치다는 공고 간제 지나야 아니 현라랑 말려봐 현라 마되어 요바데 까네
So the emptiness there is, as said previously, is the mere negation, the simple negation of the elaboration of the thing as being real. So it's that simple elimination of the thing being existing on its own, such that it autonomously, such that it doesn't depend upon another.
가사 그때도 아니 가사 그다 세가 가사 생각이 안 풍부나 맞어 봐. 가사 코랑 그 라왕 그 뭐는 매바세가 풍부나 싫어 말해 봐. 풍부나 맞어 봐. 아니 어때 까니 까점데 인다 가사 그다음에
So then this I'm sorry, that's kind of yeah.
현라 라마레바 요바 현라 마데바 요바 까점데 아니 가사 그다음에 가사 딘데 다 전화지 품비딘도 양 품보데 현라 마라를 바란 거 다시 현라 라마레바 현라 마데바 요바 까점데
So then that simple elimination of the autonomous status of the person, if we're talking about the person, the person is designated based upon the aggregates, but the person doesn't have any kind of autonomy. It doesn't exist such that it is in a way which is not dependent upon something else. So it doesn't exist without being contingent on another thing. So that elimination of that autonomy or non-contingency or existing without depending upon something else, that elimination of all of that is the object there in terms of the person, selflessness of the person. Same thing applies to the selflessness of phenomena in the case of the aggregates. The individual aggregates collectively, looking at them in terms of how they exist, seeing that they don't exist autonomously, non-contingently, or without depending upon other things.
Oh yeah, 근데 아니 가야 돼 가상한도 공도체 리바도 먹고 죽어 임바. 어이 내 시대다 가니 아니 가sam데 로유도 아니 차뒤자바 때나 밥자리 가나 아니 텔라 미네 아니 가르소리 sem천도 초와당 남이다 중고 가체 아니 sem텔라 제주도 냠바 줘야 아니 신내 주에 두스레.
So then once one has established that through reasoning the absence or non-existence of that kind of autonomy or non-contingent nature that's non-existent, non-contingent nature of the self or the aggregates, that it eliminated that elaboration of them as existing in a way that doesn't depend upon other things or that exists autonomously. Then that simple, you have to establish that simple negation through reasoning. Then once one has done that, then one takes that as the object for the meditation. And then if one's developing shamatha, then one stays single point. One is developing the ability to stay single-pointedly focused on that object without being distracted by, without losing the object by being drawn away by distraction or by the sinking, losing the clarity and awareness of the object.
Oh yeah.
mikpa di dunchi res ya mikpa di shinigi mikpa di dunchi repes ya
dunchi mare korang to tomba de chatti kanla tomba la dunchi da den chagre ma do korang dunchi mare.
So the emptiness here is not the concept. Rather, the concept is the medium through which the emptiness is appearing. But so emptiness is appearing to that awareness, but the object as such. There is emptiness, not the concept of emptiness. In the case of emptiness, how can you determine whether you have the correct object in mind instead of a mistaken one? The Tony di yul yangda ya yul lokpa yul shinigi mikpa di tata yina tata mayina kanase chegre.
Kanase tu tata yimede.
It's like not correct or mikpa tata di kanase.
Mikpa di ta ngela soso ki chemen ngewa chiko kwa. Right? Kola chemen ngewa tembachi. So chitawa inare chinyeba inare ko chemen yudu ngewa tembachi che. Chemen yudu ngewa mikpa tela ane ta mikpa teni ane semche chikpa chukwa.
So then the way that likewise determining that the object is the correct object, that is done through valid reasoning. One has to engage in establish the thing here to be an object of meditation through valid reasoning. Are there objects of mental consciousness other than concepts? If so, what types are there, and what would be examples of those types? Would any of these other types also be considered mentally constructed phenomena? And so for concepts, that's the way I'm translating dunchi here, and then mentally constructed phenomena would be like kuntak, something like that. Then yishi la yishigi yul la dunchi matok yul jen yorbes. Yishigi
yula dunchi matok.
Dunchi matok.
Yishigi yula yul mambo yorwa. Wa toba la yudi chadi kana dunchi de dena chagwa mando. Ane yishigi yula chetab yishigi yula yor.
Dunchi dan dema.
Chadi tama toba la ko dunchi dena chagwa mando.
So here, the objects, thought, mental consciousness, here we're talking about thought. What happened, it's not just the only thing that the thought is aware of is concepts. Rather, it knows everything. It can know all kinds of things, basically any kind of object of knowledge. But those objects of knowledge appear to thought blended with concepts. The concept, the object as such, the things as such are blended together with the concepts when they appear to thought. You then so kuntak Europees, die you then so Yishigi yudi kuntak.
So
yes, anything that appears to thought, we would say, is in this system is merely conceived by thought or designated by thought, and therefore is, in that sense, mentally constructed.
지당 군다 세들 주다 소소 거야 망보여리. 주다 엄마 든줄에 제가 군다 쓰리가라. 아니 양 또배 줘담. 뭐매 tension이 와 많이 봐. 대한테 줘요.
So in the other lower systems of philosophy, then they distinguish what so-called mentally constructed or imaginary phenomena as being things that are, for example, non-existent objects, which are mentally things that don't actually exist, but that are mentally fabricated or mentally constructed, imaginary things. They designate those as mentally constructed or imaginary things. But in this system, everything is merely conceived or designated by thought. Therefore, it's mentally constructed.
Oh, yeah.
Then, what are the differences from both subject and object points of view of the experience of focusing on emptiness at the start of developing shamatha and the experience after shamatha is achieved and you have meditated with insight? Then, the shini dupsula focusing on emptiness. Tony mikbe shini di dangpo dupsona. Then Didang laktongi mikbe toni di kepa karyuresa.
The Tagare, Tarang Mambola Sarda, Shinegi, Duptita Batoni Lami Bishine, Ship of the Gala, Anengarchis, Tony Lami Bishine, Tea, Nane, and the Shinegi, you, Mibatella, and Sosotobi, Chetop, Sosotobi, share of Chabachane. And the Chetop Kitani. 아니 요새 신장 그때와 마지게 파데라 가상아도 되게와 가서 좀지 주바다 차지 주바다 차바면 바당 희주주의 이식 가득되라 상동 진리 받체 아니 신장 그 심바티 있잖아 아니 그 상동 토바다 실라스를 토바 유 신내기 유 동반이 되당 상동 그 강라 제사기 유 신내 유 동반이 직받치냐래
So, this, as said previously, the object as such is the same throughout the entire process, that is, its emptiness. But in terms of the way in which it's apprehended or cognized by the mind, when one is talking about it in terms of the initial development of shamatha, then one is placing the mind, fixing the mind on that object. But then once one develops fully, once one actually has accomplished shamatha, then has that kind of single-pointed placement of the mind upon the object, then one gets involved in analytical investigation of the object, and so by the force of that, then it gives rise to the special kind of pliability of body and mind that arises out of each of the different shamatha and vipassana. Have their specific forms of the the flexibility of body and mind arise, and then so the power of analysis of the object increases by the force of developing insight in that way, and then so therefore in terms of the way it's perceived, there's differences.
Oh yeah. That the Chuade, Johnson, Chuade, and it's about Chuadera. Did it take one on your combat? Ani, Yamshamina Mutobi, Shikibi Cherry, China, Soso Tobalani, 10 Michite, Soso, Yula Soso Chibi, Sheram, Tobalani, number Mutobi, Shikigamares. Jim Mitobam, Jim Soso Chaba, and Jundanio, the Ches Tungumaku, Tungugure, and a Jinda Ches Tungumare.
So a person here who thinks that in doing the analysis, in doing meditation upon reality, that one shouldn't engage in analytical investigation of reality, because analytical investigation of reality entails holding to the images of things and is involved with that. Analysis is necessarily a conceptual process and therefore it doesn't enable one to achieve the non-conceptual understanding of reality, which is the objective here, because according to their understanding, if the cause, in this case conceptuality, is of a different character from the effect, which is a non-conceptual understanding, then because of that disparity, then the cause cannot give rise to the appropriate effect.
간데스 송바레스나 요송 레올레 요송 디다데 아니 시은이 농그 수발라 아니 태라 매촌네 아니 매 신데 습바테 신도 데벨라 아자니 요송 양다바 소소도바 연나 다 쳬남라 가서 소소도비 로와 소소도비 셰럽 연나 유동반이라 이나 유동반이라 소소집에 셰럽지 도바 연나 텔라때네 파비셰라 암보제데 파비셰라 암보제데 대제외 아니 파비셰라 암보제 메토비 시데 또용무슨 도비 시데 제데 라샨드거래 와 나를 아니 가서래 소소도 도제 라 셰럽 도제데 아니 양다버서 전지 수지 도비 셰럽 아니 상동 콤발레 아니 파바기 아니 전지는 만들어봐지 만들어거네 아니 돈용무슨 도비 셰럽 메토비 시티 끼그레 대제발라 때네 대제배 양다버 소소도바 테니스 버체도 시간라 아니 가서래 말이지 전지단 제와데 아니 전지단 만들어요 용 어쩌고 알아 대라잖아 두 스타죠 그래. 양 인생 또 봤을 바라야 자차요 할 때. 대개에 양 다바 소소 또 봐. 테니스 버 체데 말지 또 봐디 주인데 무슨 공 어쩌고 하래. 와. 응아를 전시 쓰지 또 봐대 파벨람 터도나 아니 돈이 무슨 또 병 어쩌고 하래. 시 소소 또 봐래. 소소 또 봐라 파비셔를 깨워서라. So
then the reply to that, here the opponent is thinking that analytical understanding is unable to give rise to non-conceptual gnosis, but the reply to that is that, in fact, it's the opposite is the case, that it is analytical understanding that gives the wisdom which investigates the nature of things, which gives rise to non-conceptual gnosis. And then the actual text here says that regarding that, the Bhagavan himself has clearly given the reply to that idea. And it says in the Kashyapa Parivarta, the chapter on Kashyapa, where it says, "O Kashyapa, it's like this. For example, if two pieces of wood are being rubbed together by the wind, and from that fire arises, then after the fire has arisen, the two pieces of wood are incinerated, just like that, O Kashyapa." When one has correct investigative understanding, then the faculty of discerning wisdom of the Aryas arises. Here, the faculty of discerning wisdom of the Aryas refers to the understanding of emptiness. And once that has arisen, then that very analytical or investigative discerning wisdom itself is incinerated. So there's two ways to construe this last part of this, where it says that the investigation itself is incinerated. That can mean in terms of the initially, again, when one understands emptiness, one does so via the medium of a concept. But when one then applies that in meditation practice and develops finally insight, that the insight practice shifts from a conceptual process to one in which there's perception, direct perception of the object here, that is emptiness, such that the concept disappears, it dissolves. And so that's one way to read it. Otherwise, one could also read this in terms of that the investigative knowledge initially is involved, is still at the beginning misapprehends is still involved with holding the object as being real, and so one can understand that through the continuation of this process, that sort of holding to the object as being real is incinerated, and likewise in that case, there's now direct perception of the object here, emptiness.
Oh yeah.
So it says, 소소도발레 파베시랍 키워.
소소도바시 소소도발레 파베시랍 키워순소. 나르기 아니 가서래. 돈이 도비 아니 공중대라 돈이 전지 투비 도비 공중대라 소소도바 어 대래 아니 파베시랍 키워순소.
So the investigative understanding here is referring then to the wisdom which arises from meditation, the last third of the three kinds of wisdoms that arise from hearing, reflection, and meditation. But the initial phase of that is again done via the medium of a concept, conceptually. But once one, so it's out of that conceptual understanding of emptiness that the wisdom of the Aryas arises.
No, 谢谢。他等你，他见了没多一些见了，一些帮他们进，一些帮他们进没接，一些帮他们进没接触你。我在家把打了，等那没多一些几个人嘛都，安尼伊拉吃把帮上看呀，伊拉没些把这里几个嘛的晒的了，打我了中国多。我个人爸爸来讲。 天朝边那就我提，台大写了句那么接的，但是俺们那上东的，去那么的，俺你当把你了，说就比写了题，台大写了句那么接的，看个在那就把题，那就呗，我看给我你，其他那个我看给我你，天大帮也把没什把题才那是，天大把出啊，没什把。 没什么提出的，全他妈没把人，我什么都多把提出，俺那把没做比定义进来就高，那就讲回去了啊。
So then, then next it shows that if one analyzes it in that way, one gives rise to non-conceptual gnosis. But one is not able to give rise to this non-conceptual gnosis by the mere abandonment of attention, simply having gotten rid of attention, this non-conceptual gnosis will not arise. And that's explained in the middle stages of meditation text, where it says, by means of that, here one could say, or that one can read this as that person, a yogi or yogini, or one can say that by means of that kind of insight meditation, in that way, then and one analyzes it with discerning wisdom. Then at that time, the yogi or yogini will apprehend that the thing's nature is such that it's not established by means of its own intrinsic, it's not ultimately existent. The yogi or yogini is investigating, analyzing the nature of things, and they will come to, it says here, not apprehend the things as being ultimate. Here, that you can read that positively as they will apprehend things as not being established ultimately.
Oh yeah, 가서래서나 쉐남지 치다난 거 아니 된다 말아 마주바 대라 아니 마주바 또비 리시 또제데 리시 또제데 아니 된다 마주바 무슨도 또비 리시 또메 남바 미도비 아니 띵게지나 남바 미도비 띵게지 좀 주디 삼바 아니 또는 무슨도 또고 와리 디젤이나 아니 사탄부 토고 와리 뒤에 가서 아니 최 탐색이 원인 봐 최니의 최전 탐색을 군도准备 出去 盗版 인장 최 탐색이 원인에 봐 니장多少 세팅지
So, and then at that time, when when they understand or apprehend things as not existing ultimately, not being established ultimately by means of their own intrinsic nature, then at that time they enter into the non-conceptual meditative concentration. And they also, it says, they also understand the essencelessness of all phenomena. So this again is referring to initially one practices insight through via the medium of a concept, and that conceptual form of meditation is eventually eliminated so that the conceptuality disappears. And when the conceptuality has disappeared from that, then one enters into a non-conceptual direct perception of emptiness. And that direct perception of emptiness is, if one's following the sutra path, is the first stage. If one's speaking in terms of the bodhisattva path, then that's the first bodhisattva stage, or the path of seeing.
이중에 재난 미도 이시께라 이제 잠기 미제주 세동의시리 간식 셰럽기 셔남지 나라 소소제비 셰럽기 아니 오보기 셰럽기 아니 가세 오용오니 소소따네 미검지 그래 오용오니 셰럽기 셔남지 오용오 아니 뭐 동반이라 소소따네 미검지 강야 일에 쳐봐자 일에 쳐봐 용서 빵바점 바시 공바 쳐봐 아니 뒤나바 미도바 나야 미도지 뒤 나바도바 나야 미도 텐더와지 이제도 공바점지 나바도바 나야 도고 말이 미도지 오니 매바니 나야 도바 민주 최남지 오니 매바데 아니 라시님이 배동반이 나야 도바 민주데 셰럽지 나와 매비 싫어. 어찌야 얘기야 미세바 인사 셰럽 나와 매비 싫어. 야.
So one who doesn't meditate by investigating the nature of things by means of wisdom, but rather instead practices meditation by merely getting rid of, entirely abandoning or getting rid of attention with respect to things, such a meditator will never be able to to eliminate conceptuality, and they also will never be able to, will never understand the essencelessness of things, that is, the emptiness of things. And this, in terms of attention, what is indicated there is a kind of meditation in which one is not focusing attention upon anything whatsoever. And then if one does it that way, one won't never get rid of conceptuality, and also will never understand the essencelessness or emptiness of things. And the reason for that is that they don't have such a meditator will not have the light of wisdom.
maybe chiro. Dida yandaba soso toba nile yandaba chitawa chin sirikana didar se. Yandaba sirikana ani chenamla ani kaso soso chebi sherak tomba nila. Soso chebi sherak ani rishi toba nile. Rishi toche nile. Ani yandaba soso chebra chebi ani chitawa chindu rishi tome chuma. rwa rishi tome chwa yang taba toba nile yang taba chidawa shidu shun chidawa shi shiwi rishi tome chwa de sungwa imbari ta chidawa shindu shiwi me chuna zubshin zubi me shindu me chuna ani zubshin zubala teme me shindu ani kasore tobe shin sigo rwa tobe shin sigo se ta jin na shin che che ne ri she to che de ani tobe ngo de ma sin ni ani tobe go ngo ru chua
So, moreover, it's like this. If one has, it's the case that since it's the case that the fire of understanding arises correctly here. The fire of correct understanding is it refers to the reasoning awareness which investigates the final nature of things in the case without conceptuality, the non-conceptual form of that. That arises from a correct investigation of things, the correct investigation of the final nature of things, here referring to emptiness, the final nature of all phenomena. So it's the case then that that kind of second form of it, the non-conceptual form of this rational awareness that has investigated the final nature of things, arises from the conceptual form of the rational awareness that investigates the final nature of things. And since it's the case that that fire of understanding arises, the fire of a non-conceptual understanding arises from the initial conceptual understanding, then it's just like the case of when one has a drill that is used to make a fire. One uses the wood of the drill in the base of the drill, and by revolving the fire drill in its base, then one generates fire. And then when fire has arisen from that grinding of the fire drill in its base, then the wood of thought is incinerated, and that's the Bhagavan has said that.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah. Chumne de jika cha to ose. Ta ta jika yege ani so to be yishi ji ani mi to be yishi ji ge na ani gyudan de woni wo de ani jesu tungu mare se de o te and Jundia Jedi Bakogo, Madumba Yenza, Tela, take it at Tenda, Tessunga in Madam. Chatham Jen Tumba Gogo Mares, Kungogiana, that good and Debula, and a Chatham Jene, and good and Devoni with a dragona, and a Hajan Tagres. Ra, that you Mitobari, Jigsaw Tobari, and a Tungumare, Jindu, Yinza, Chatham Jen Tumba Gogo Mares, Chatham Jen Tumba Gogoina, Junde. 아니 하잔 타와 차탐 대다 많이나 차탐제지 tum바지고 그에나 아니 사자라 때네 사면 메중와 소소지 시와 탐제 아니 사제만도 사제지 시와만도 요 말이 아니 대라 때네 아니 사면 그 시와 메중와 아니 지된 발라 때네 아니 지된은 대위라 메중와 지된 메노라 때나 아니 삼제라 때네서 아니 산제 미중마 소소 제보 대다 아니 파바 중마서 메시바 메시바 주디 굉장히 민자의 치료 차탐제에 나와지고 거기나
So then, in response to the person who believes that it's impossible for a non-conceptual gnosis to arise from conceptuality, And then it's also shown here that if the idea that cause and effect have to be concordant in every respect it leads to absurd consequences. And here it says, if that was not the case, here meaning that if it was not the case that the effect does not have to accord with the cause in all respects, that is, that the non-conceptual gnosis does not have to, the cause of it, it doesn't have to be non-conceptual, it can be conceptual, then if that was not the case, then it would be impossible for for that which is non-contaminated to arise from that which is contaminated. For sentient beings, ordinary sentient beings, then all of their awarenesses are contaminated, and yet from that it is possible for non-contaminated awareness to arise. And then likewise, the path, the worldly path, it would be impossible for the transcendental path, the path which transcends the world, to arise from worldly sorts of paths. And then likewise, it would be impossible for Buddhas to arise from sentient beings. And furthermore, it would be also impossible for Aryas to arise from ordinary sentient beings. So all of these various kinds of things would become impossible because the cause and the effect in all those cases are dissimilar.
군도서 담바증비 도발에 셴바 매바테 대다라 대신 고바던바를 마도 어느 소소도 비셔로 고바던바 말 멤바테 다디 셔기도와 찬주sem대래 강도 남도 나주바 테니 돈이 칸라요 강도 아니 남도라 담바 셴바 나마 주와마데 아니 담바 셴바 주와텔라 아니 돈바니 칸라요 大家多见那比些提醒些吧，那么就没啥。大家当多见，俺那点把出发的提，俺那提醒些吧，那就没事。看了大家多见，台了强就看了有些点把的先，点把出于大家当多见，俺那先把看，先把看一把台了，那他们把强就要把买的。我先送把你，大家当多见，点把真把啦。 아니 창조 토바 매봤단 말에 내셔야 어 되게 아니 가서 다자 도제 세야 소소 토바 진짜바 집에 셔라 고바 말에 소소 토바 집에 셔라 탕 지大家다 도제 잠 고바 말에 와 고나 슝데 소소 토비 슝데리 소소 토비 집이 고 투매 태권한이 때나 바바다 가게 아니 소소도 비셔라 그 잡아자니 아니 다자 도지 과거에나 아니 태권에 때나 봐봤다 가게 소소도 비셔라 과거에나
So this likewise is also there's a passage in the commentary on Bodhicitta by the Master Nagarjuna. In that it says that he disparages attachment to ideas such as something to be investigated or an investigating awareness, etc. These are taught, these statements negate or are designed to be negations of being attached to those things as being real, but they're not negations of investigative, analytical wisdom. And this is explained in the text itself. It says, as it says in the commentary on Bodhicitta, how could emptiness exist where concepts appear? here, where it says, how could emptiness exist where concepts appear? Here, it means if one is taking emptiness as being existing as real, as if it was established as real, then how could it exist? And then the next line says, the Tathagatas do not see anything to be investigated or any investigation. They don't. The Tathagatas do not see a mind which is to be investigated or to be which is doing the investigation. And awakening does not exist where there is investigation of an object of investigation. So this statement here is showing that if one grasps at or apprehends that which is to be investigated as well as the investigating awareness as if they were real, then there's no awakening. But it is not a simple, a categorical negation of the investigative or analytical wisdom, and it's not a mere a categorical negation of something to be investigated and an investigating awareness as such. That's not the case. And the reason for that is that if it was negating them in that way, just saying that there should be that investigative wisdom should be negated and there should be nothing to nothing to investigate and no investigation of it, then that would contradict with the way in which reality is established in this very text. By means of analysis, by means of the investigating wisdom.
是吧？我呀，说是多被写了几锅巴汤，大家喜欢那些些，大家，俺们两把先把真把这锅巴人骂到，说是多被俺们写了几，俺们说是绝把锅，说是多被写了锅巴汤。 说是对比写了不起，大家他多些切把这各个人呐，俺你什么这个告诉，俺你说是对比写了给贴款那你来接吧，俺看是我突然呢，俺你说对比写了就过来点了拍把是整个高兴我太当高兴，俺你第二三节几三，第二三节几马上大家多去当，说吧，三节几马上呢你没法举起，三节几马上呢没法举起。
So therefore, this statement in the commentary on bodhicitta is not a simple rejection of analytical wisdom, and it's not a rejection of there being things to be investigated as well as investigation of them as such. And because that would contradict the way in which these things are all established, the way in which reality is extensively established in this very text. Reality is established by means of multiple forms of analysis, which entails the use of this investigating analytical wisdom. And likewise, if and if these things were not seen by the Buddha, that is, the thing to be investigated and the investigation itself were not seen by the Buddha, then they would become completely non-existent.
Yeah. 大洋常住生的第二呢，见面谈的多年谈，大没姐姐东巴你，但你明白看光吧，天天光把钱嘛赢，所以他看的团长把叫没把他，东巴没把他，俺那大没把姐钱位，俺那东巴你，是吧？但你明白看光吧，天天光把钱把命，所以个了，俺当你登陆都光把钱把没送过来，谁送把样，让先去叫没被当你。 打灭了明年，俺你让先叫没被当你打灭了明年， 공부도 공부 말해 공부 미고기 대다도 라신지 돈이 다음에 대다도 덴바르 소위 단위 멤버들 매비네 아니 돈이 공부도 공부래 돈이 된도로 소위 거네 아니 가서 대다 덴바르 소위 단위 멤버들 매배네 돈이 된도도 공부도 공부인데
돈이 된도도 공부
돈이 된도도 전부도 공부래
So then that very text says, furthermore says that one who is meditation on an inferior sort of emptiness, which is given the name of being non-arising, or called emptiness, or called selflessness. Here, this inferior sort of emptiness is when one is taking emptiness as if it existed, was established as real. Holding emptiness, misapprehending emptiness as if it was established as real. That kind of meditation is not actual meditation. Is not actual meditation on emptiness. And then that's the root text. The explanation says, with regard to that statement as well, this is not negating meditation on emptiness, the emptiness which is things being devoid of arising by means of their own intrinsic nature, and taking that as selflessness, using that as the object and meditating in that way. This text is not negating that kind of meditation, but rather it's if one takes those as in a sort of inferior way, such that one holds them as if they were real, then that sort of meditation on emptiness is to be disparaged as inferior. And this text is rejecting meditating on emptiness as if it was established as real.
Oh yeah. 다음에는 미네 공부 미고대 대다도 돈이 덴바르 수에 단위 멤버들 매비네 돈이 된도 돈이 매비네 돈이 덴바 추바 고바데 내 고바레 대인바데 아니 루루게 지대는데 되변나라 군도 탐제 방위 처무 군도 탐제 사위시 돈이 뒤지 된잖아 같이 태라 현주바 진이 취치 신도 매是吧 군도 탐제에서가나 아니 된진 담바집이 군도 탐제 방와대 아니 싸와차비 치리 아니 군도 방와 쳐바기 아니 가서래 년보 아니 돈이 되비셔람 아니 돈이 뒤지 된잖아 최탐제랑 신지 돈이 뒤지 된잖아 된저유 돈바니 태양 아니랑 담바 추와 현바 주나 아니 테니시도 매비래 돈이 된두를 셴바니 안 다시 셴바니 되네 테니 chen 신도 매비네 같이 tel라 셴주 바 테니 쳬지 신도 매 스테서
So this here is, as said, then that holding emptiness to be real, to be as if it was established as real, that is a inferior sort of emptiness, and it's something to be reviled. It's something to be disparaged. And so therefore, the text that was just the commentary on bodhicitta was negating meditating on emptiness as if it was established as real. And then this is likewise, just as it's taught also in the praise to the transcendent, praise to the supramundane, where it says that in order to when one has taught the nectar of immortality of emptiness, here referring to the wisdom which understands emptiness, when one has taught this nectar of immortality, which is the wisdom understanding emptiness, in order to clear away or dispel all imagination. Imagination here refers to the misapprehension of things as being real. And if one has taught emptiness, when emptiness has been taught as that in that way, if someone then apprehends that, is attached to that as if it was established as real, then you have greatly, entirely reviled or disparaged that sort of misapprehension of emptiness.
Oh yeah, 같이 tel라 현도가 되니 신도 매. 아니 된다 도일 가서 가사도 따와네 라이. 돈이 라바심반에 대다 메노. 대지 전 아마니 제자 탐자라 뭐와 좀 인지 현 퇴치돼 봐야 풍화미지. 라외 실라야 야와 민주. 치만이 대다라 도바 교회서 전에 다도이가 수만 나시 전에 가사 된루 현바데 아니 라와레. 와 라와레. 가사 따와라 돈이 라바심반에 대다 마인도. 되니 가사 따와데 당신이 주와 현바 좀 해. 아니 돈이 된루 현대 최대 방향 뭐 아니现学的吧样，刚才碰完没些，俺那边起来样也完没就，俺那起码呢太大了，大把就要说，现在看在看说的，当年电路都是看啥电路都真把当，当年电把主要真把你我的你要切，送下来，你要切。
So this is also this is reflecting a statement in the sutras as well, where it says that holding the person to be real is better than misapprehending emptiness as being real. From misapprehension of the person as being real, one simply is reborn.
다도 셴바데 라와레 아니 돈이 된도 셴바데 아니 텔레 아니 카라사나다 냐바 쳐와레
냐바 쳐와레 디 체타 카이나 디 돈이 덴션
된도 되바데 아니 냐바 쳐와레 소 가사 따와 라와 가사도 따와데 라이 스냐와 돈이라 덴바 셴바네 대다 마이노 라와 텐데 말이 아니 냐바 쳐와레
So it says then that someone who has a view of the person, that means like seeing the person as if it was real, that is better, superior. It's relatively better, whereas that seeing emptiness, having this wrong view of emptiness as if it was established as real, as if it was real in that way, is of much greater harm or fault.
아마니 세자 탐자라 세자라 뭐바 잠 인지 랑시지 마주 바라 랑시지 주와 진바 뭐바 잠 인지 아니 현 최대 방향 아니 풍화미시
So then this the first of these, that is holding having this view of the person in that way, is merely a kind of confusion about the nature of things, where one is holding something as if it was real when in fact it is not real. But that sort of view of the person does not ruin other people that are attempting to develop themselves within the to proceed towards liberation.
아니 라위 실라야 야와 민주르스 랑 캐랑비 추중 실라야 이어 민주바
And it doesn't induce oneself to give up one's training in the foundations of training in the path.
치만이 대달라 도와 주아레스, 라 현실도 봐 풍화 치그레스, 라비실라 예와 치그레스,
So the latter, then, this wrong view of emptiness is much heavier because it ruins other people and it causes oneself to become separated from one, to cast away one's the foundation of one's training in the path.
다 대신도 chanju semde 루루 그 지대는데 나 대와라 아니 이제 처음 마샤니 대다 다단 다음에 봐 양다 지신 미수매 다단 다음에 다와다 대지 투와 침비도 세요 대다 다단 다음에 봐 양다 지신 미수매 다소래 된된도 미수매 봐 양다 지신 미수매 다단 다음에 다와다 투와 침비 대지 투와 침비도 다단 다랑신지 투와 다와당 다음에 랑신지 투와 다와딩이가 안에 투와 침비도 제송바 양 다단 다음에 봐 니가 아니 니가 지발에 선다 강사 랑신지 마주바 나신 강사 그때 그 동반이 돼야 랑신지 마주바 뭐 양다바 마주바 마주베 괜히 양다바 아니 강사 랑신지 여바 따와당 강사 그때 그 동이 랑신지 여바 따와 아니 가서 양다바 마주베 괜히 양다바 여바 따와 도바 인지 측되게 양다바 여바 따와 도바 인지 다음에 따와 고바
So this is, as it was said above in the commentary on bodhicitta, as well as the praise of the transcendent. The same thing is stated in the Precious Garland as well. And it says, therefore, So with respect, it's like this: self and selflessness are not observed to exist, to be real. So here they don't exist such that they can be observed as if they are. Self and selflessness do not exist in a way which is observed to be real. Here, observed to be real would be observe them as if they were established as real. The view, and therefore, the great sage has eliminated the views of self and selflessness. So this statement here is also to be understood that. That the self and selflessness, both of these are not established as real. That is, they don't exist by means of their own intrinsic existence. And therefore, because of that, seeing these two as if having the view that these exist as real is the Buddha has gotten rid of that, has eliminated that. But this is not a negation of the view that of selflessness.
Oh yeah, 여봤다와 또봐 이제 다음에 봤다와 무고대. 다양한테 양제 누르기 전도라. 나를 전도 참바다. 당아를 전도 간데래서나 전도 가서 라신 매바 니로나 라신 유도라고 줄 세대래. 라신 매바라 니라로나 아니 라신 추바 니도 줄 세대 등아를 전도티. 라신 매바 니로나 라신 유도라고 줄长把大人生啊真多，让心机储备让心没把没赢呐，让心机储备让心没把没赢呐，是吧？让心没把没赢呐，但让心机储备也把就顾谁？是让心没把你了呢？让心机多了就去
And this is also as had previously in the text been cited from the dispelling of objections. By Arya Nagarjuna as well, where it says that if things are not devoid of a nature which is established by its own intrinsic existence, then they would exist such that they're established by intrinsic existence. So in that line from the dispelling of objections. It says that if things are not essenceless, that is, if things are not devoid of intrinsic existence, they would become intrinsically existent.
Oh yeah. 당아와 티신도 돌레스. 다야게 누르기 안 제와 나신 아니 또요 공부 임바테라. 티신도 돌레. 참말로 줘봐 손봐 양 참말로 줘봐 셰갈 딘루기 참말로 광에 참말로 줘봐 가중원에 너지 아니 너 뒤비 가서 대단히 뒤발라 내 얘기들은 푹 시작해서 풍디인지를 생각했다 풍부디 풍지 동시 또나 장주 삼반이 풍지 아니 동시 또나야 전담바 주바 또나야 장주 삼반이 참아 라지 예매 라네 테마인东西到那样，前去三百年，碰见到把钱拿，碰见到把你去，按照到把钱那样，到那样，前去三百的参满了绝吧，谁的呢？按照电线给参满了绝吧，电柱给参满了，这参满了这门来了，台湾人，天这边按照参满了这边这外面边来了，台湾马人，我这个按你多对比弄这钱。用钱没了讲，数当把当没把捐了，参满了捐济，现在是爬路的去把了捐，没捐到，写送把南去天阳，俺那当年等把出来了，来做什么？当年等把送完了才个人，是了，数当把当没把捐了，参满了捐济，是的，俺那当把当没把电路都送完了捐济，俺那现在是爬路的去把了没捐到。Oh yeah.
So then, likewise, this same statement is found in the sutras, that where it says that one is engaged in images. When it's mentions involvement in images, that also has in mind the images of things as being established as real, and this is explained with two sutra passages. The first of these is the summation of the perfection of wisdom, and it says that, and here the text that we've got reads as a cave, but Rinpoche suggests that to read that as the aggregates, see the aggregates as empty. If one So the spelling there is, instead of puk, it should be pung.
풍디 풍부인지래서 풍디 풍디 동시차 아이 풍부인지래 푹신지 말해서 나만 줘.
So maybe it should be read as the aggregates instead of as a cave. Not sure, but perhaps we can read this as aggregates instead of cave. So if one thinks, if Bodhisattva thinks that these aggregates are empty, then that Bodhisattva is engaged in images and does not have faith in the unarisen condition. That's the first statement from the perfection of wisdom. And then likewise, the great mother perfection of wisdom says, where it says, if one is engaged in things such that one is thinking or saying form is empty, and selflessness, using these terms, then one is engaged in images, but is not engaged in the perfection of wisdom. And
oh yeah.
She sumpa nam gitun.
아니, 제수만 남지 태양 돈이서 덴바송하라 지그리 참아라 쥐세. 돈이서 덴바송하라 차디.
So these statements as well in the sutras are to be taken, and the meaning of these statements is also to be understood in the sense that in those cases someone is holding emptiness, etc., as if it was real.
덴바송하라 쥐발라 마세바 아니 돈이라 쥐발라 채나 대담이나 도대나라 아니 돈이라 돈이 되비 셰럽지 잡아 돈이라 돈이 되비 셰럽 그 잡아 잡아라 나바 잡아다 그래是吧 오가 나바 잡아다 그래 세대라 대담 마이나 오 다가라라 깨면내라 테마인 세대 삼만라지 깨면라 테마인 세대기 시바양 미르데스 tela tabayang chamala joba jubichero chamala chamala joba dem chama joba je dembala mashana ani tela tabayang chamala joba jubichedang no tenina chena rashi meba yonsu she juwa sana chena ani rashi meba yonsu rashi ji majuba rashi ji chuba mayimba demba chuba mayimba chena rashi meba yonsu she jaba teni shera paro chincha joba yin chena rashi ji meba la joba demba meba la joba di yonsu she wa juwa teni ani shera ji paro di chimbi chok la joba yin
So thus, if that was not the case, that one has to interpret those passages from the sutra as in terms of someone who's misapprehending emptiness as if it was real, then it would contradict with statements in the sutras in which there are passages from the sutras in which in which the sutras praise analyzing emptiness by means of wisdom. And that's the subheading inserted in the basic text here. And then the basic text says, if that was not the case, then it would be inappropriate for the sutra there to say the bodhisattva does not have confidence or faith in the unarisen condition, there. And the reason for that is that that's faith or confidence in that unarisen condition is necessarily entails involvement in images. Similar So having faith or confidence in the unarisen condition necessarily entails in being engaging in the images. And then the sutra itself also says that one who fully understands the absence of intrinsic existence of phenomena. This absence of intrinsic existence means that phenomena are not established by means of their own intrinsic existence, or they are devoid of being established as real. So someone who fully understands that, such a person is engaged in the practice, the supreme practice of the perfection of wisdom.
Oh yeah, that tanda digi do duba tagarale. Kanze duje duma chetan kanachi. Shera namba shinen duza mimi tse. Jigden dena shera paru chinjang zho se kange tse. Dujenji du chewi du shedang. Dujenji du ma chewi du ma chera. Ani rande dewa jinji karbo gewe ledang. Dunga jinji ke napo miki mi lela sowa. Ani chönam. Sherab number shine say gana ani rashime ba to be sherab ji ani teda rashin ji truwa zimbi xianyu number shine ani du zamya mimi bi chena mimi ba je mimi bi che ani ti je sherab ba to ni to wa ba mimi ba ti to ji zamba o tendra wa di jigdan da na sherab tendri di tendra bi sherab di jigdan da na ani sherab ji paru chi ba chang la zhu gu re
So this very sutra, the sutra that was cited above, further evidence for this interpretation of it is that the sutra itself, that is the verse summary of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras, says that, further says that when one annihilates the created and uncreated things, also white and dark phenomena by wisdom, such that one doesn't observe even an atom of them, then that is such a person has is counted as having gone into the perfection of wisdom within the world. Here, so what this means is that here created things are things which are created by causes and conditions, and uncreated things are things which are not created by causes and conditions. And then so white and dark phenomena refer to virtuous karma and non-virtuous karma, as well as the effects of virtuous karma and non-virtuous karma. And when those have been annihilated by wisdom, that means when wisdom has eliminated entirely or annihilated the misapprehension of them as being real, then such that one doesn't observe even a single atom of intrinsic existence, or see them as being real even to the extent of a single atom, then within the world, such a person has become so such a person is counted as someone who has become a person who is meditating upon the perfection of wisdom.
Oh yeah, that thing do do ba ki xie xie de ma chan ne ti jie la, ane ding de je do xie xie de la, ka de che la da me so so da ne kan xi te guan ba, de bu nyang a de do ju de ju te yin, ju xian kan ge ten ni xin mi ju se ga la, ane ka de che dang da me ba la, che la da me ba so do bi xie ra ji. 아니 가사도 최지 담에 봐라 소소 떠봐지 소소 째네 아니 소소 따네 아니 소소 째네 소소 따네 강시 태권바 소소 째네 아니 가사도 최지 담에 봐 담에 봐 아니 강시 요 강시 그 태권바 권바 대우냥한 대도 주티hin 양안에 대와 토바 그 대우냥안에 대와 아니 연바 방비 아니 냥데 고바 아니 토바기 주테레 셰럽데레 주시안 칸게 되니 시민주를 테레 셴바기 아니 주시안 칸게장 아니 코이 동안 야와라 시위 아니 냥데데 아니 톱투고 말에 주시안 칸게 되니 시민주 쓸까나 코이 동안 야와라 시위 니시 냥데데 톱투고 말에 토바미 요구 말에
So the
야,
the Gyushin
강기장.
Kangikyang.
아, 소소 또 베셔라, 돈이 또 베셔라, 또 셔라 텔레샹비, 주시안 강기장. 대매바 주시안 강기장. 주시안 강이 되니, 주시안 강이 바 되니. 아니, 동안에 와라 시비. 냥대대 안에 톱투고 말해. 니시대 톱바 두고 말해. 톱바 민주 톱바.
So this likewise is said in another the sutra, which is the King of Samadhis, the King of Meditative Concentration Sutra, also says that if one investigates, analyzes the phenomena and the absence of phenomena and self. Here, this is referring to investigating and critically analyzing the status of phenomena and the status of the self, such that one understands the two selflessnesses, the absence of a self of phenomena, the absence of a self of persons. Then one should do that kind of investigation and analysis. And then having done that kind of investigation and that kind of analysis, someone who then meditates upon that, meditates upon it in that way, then they will obtain the result, which is nirvana. Nirvana, referring here to the abandonment of all of the mental afflictions, as well as the abandonment of all of the misapprehension of things as being real, and attain the cessation, which is consequent to that abandonment. And this is the cause for the obtainment of that kind of nirvana, meaning the cause here is that kind of investigation, analytical investigation of phenomena and the self, such that one recognizes their selflessness. And there's no other no other cause apart from that, meaning there's no other kind of wisdom apart from that, or apart from that investigative, analytical wisdom. There's no other cause by which one can obtain peace. Peace here referring again to the cessation of suffering.
Oh yeah, 시민주 세송바탕. 나한테 등에대 도와줘. 나한테 이제는 세련님 보고 도와줘야 되나. 세련지 바로 시민님 보 내장. 나 야경하라 남지 돼야 돼. 두네 등은 양념만 주 양대에서 서서서 파제를 세련지 바로 삼미셔봐줘봐줘봐지 시다 나와 차. 네가 제면 와다 전주삼바삼바 파제를 산다바 세르보라 네가 세르보리 집 간. 부모가 대다다랑 신이 동반나봐 따오 세도 당아주 돼야 돼. 세련지 바로 집에 님벌래 세르부 장심 시신삼모라 치다 쪄봐대배 치다 나와 차. 시 지위 년도 제레스지 풍봉아 원대다자 라신지 동반나봐 양다바 제서 따오 시 오다 풍봉아 원대다 라신지 동반 양다바 제서 따오도 제서 따고래 시 마도 송반남자 가와 주로.
And then this same thing is stated in the Perfection of Wisdom, the Heart Sutra of the Perfection of Wisdom, the Heart of the Perfection of Wisdom. And this is the sutra that we recite every morning. And so it says within there's an extended passage of this. And then there's the portion within it where Avalokiteshvara is addressing Shariputra. And it says there, Shariputra, here Shariputra is asking Avalokiteshvara how a bodhisattva who desires to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, how should they train? And then the reply to that, Avalokiteshvara says that such a person should observe these five aggregates and should properly, exactly and properly observe the five aggregates, these five aggregates, and likewise properly see, correctly see how they are empty of intrinsic existence. And that statement from the Heart Sutra is, etc. There's many other statements in which the Buddha has taught all of this extensively, and then this wrong view which has been discussed above would contradict all of those multiple statements that are found in the sutras.
Oh yeah. 나 세송바다 가 주로 다 다음에 비트나 소소도비 또진 쪄봐대 소소도비 셔라대 아니 녀음보단 시지 디바라 넘버 트와 그 둘라 아니 루루단 다양 아파대 엠바레 대나 친인 때발에 나 대신 커생하면 아주 얘가 전차서 다 초도 셈니 존재비 친이라신 엠바인 에바인 사라 초도 아니 셈기 치마 정화 청gen기 아니 존재기 안탑 쪼어데 가르래서는 아니 최도자라 심바도 별로들이 초도 셈니 존재비 친이라신 매바인 야 대체.
So then this also shows that in terms of the analytical investigation and analysis of the meaning of selflessness is the cause of liberation. This is praised by both Arya Nagarjuna as well as the master Chandrakirti. And then the texts are given here saying, therefore, as it says in the praise to Dharmadhatu, it says that the supreme way of purifying the mind is the supreme thing that purifies the mind. Is the cognition that phenomena are devoid of intrinsic existence.
oi generation me ba ye dang da dan da gi xie jin be qi si qi ro nam da ba da me nam ba ni dong ne si bi sa bang ga ba chu ani ran xian yin de we da dan da gi wa ani ga so de ra wan du chu ba ma den ba chu wa ani qi si qi ani nam ba da wa te是吧nam ba da wa te ten ra wa de 남바 따와 테레 마도바 이렇게 가사다 취니 아니 어 대답 취 라시안 그 대회 아니 주제 저 남바 따와 대답도 아니 다음에 봐 남바 니 토나 아니 시비 사변 가봐 시비 사변 아니 당신 가고 그래 당신 가배 아니 다 당신 그냥 레사바데가 대가 가봐 아니 어 가소래 랭이 그 아니 왕의 중요 아니 코와 홍보 가야 줘 봐. CB7 가와 줘.
GC 주로 남다.
다다 라산지 대야 다다 다기와 시시 시로도 아니 가서를 다들 저거 넘버 따와. 그봐 시로 넘버 따와. 넘버 간 따와대 아니 매바 통화 다음에 봐 넘버 니 통나. 그봐 아니 CB7 가와 줘 그래.
그거 GC 주로 남다가
GC 치료
주로기
치료고 최저다 딱 대서기 이제 넘버 따와서 다도 주와 넘버 따와.
다도 주고 넘어 봐. 디 치료 봐.
치료실 자주고 이제 GC 치료 남다봐. 그러와 아니 가서를 다도 주와 넘버 따와 대. 가사다 취지 띵도 아니 매비 남에 봐 넘버 니 토나 아니 CB7 가봐 줘 그래.
So then this text also says, the praise to Dharmadhatu also says that I'm sorry, I'm missing something. Dakdandagi Shedzenpe.
Dakdandagi Shedzenpe. 지시 치료 난다 봐서 가나 치다 난경 오 치료 그 오버라잖아. 대다 라시지 주와 나바 따와. 따와대 아니 풍부다다 풍비진도 아니 남 매바 통도 잡아.
매바 통도 삼.
매바 통도 잡아. 아니 시비사건 가와 주그레서 대다 다음에 니 통발라 때네 당진도 배 아니 티 그냥 레사바도 되네 아니 다 코안도 봐 주와.
So then this text further says that when one has seen the non-existence of the two types of selflessness in its two aspects, that is, when one sees the absence of self with respect to phenomena and with respect to persons and with respect to phenomena. So when one sees that twofold type of selflessness with respect to external phenomena that are imagined to exist by means of their own self. And so here it says that one who is grasping at external phenomena as if they were self.
양 치료가 오라 맞자와 최대라 치료도 주비 아니 라산지 대회 치다나 봤다 와잖아 저거서 대 고쳐도
대박. So one can read this such that as long as one when one sees the two types of selflessness of phenomena, selflessness of persons, that is the absence of the self, which is held There are outsider-type philosophers as well as Buddhist philosophers which imagine that there is an actual self and a real that which is of the mind, of the self, the mind. And they hold that as being real, as if it was the I or self, and the mind as if they were autonomous, as if they were established as real. And by means of that misapprehension of the self and the mind, they imagine that it exists, self and mind exist in a way in which they don't exist. And when one, on the other hand, sees the non-existence of the self and the mind such that one understands instead their selflessness, then one stops, eliminates the seed of existence. Sibe saben sana denzin.
Sibe saben kabat.
Kapagyor. Sibe saben kapagyor.
Sibe saben.
So and the seed of
denzin maru bache.
Denzin maru. So the seed of existence here again is the ignorance which is grasping at things as being real.
No. 다 루루가 체인도 봐 틱틱틱한 툼바 아니 봐봐래 시비사베 남시디 유남태이 지유로 유라 다음에 토나니 시비사베 가바줄 세니 어따디 너무 봐봐라에 대송가래 시비사베 근데 가르래서나 안에 단지 말을 받으래 유남태이 지유로서 요새가 단지 말을 비시유 안에 담아 줘야지 대체 유남태이 유라 다음에 토나니에서 안에 된증기 현유 안에 대랑신지 추와만 담바 추와데 매바 토나 유라 다음에 토나니 안에 텐다에 다음에 토에 로 콤발레 때네 다시 공도 샤바나시 이제 안에 수비사번 가가지고 그래.
This statement here in Arya Nagarjuna's praise to Dharmadhatu is exactly reflected in Arya Deva's 400 as well, where it says that when one sees the non-existence of the object which is apprehended by the misapprehension of things as being real, that object which is held to exist by the misapprehension of things as being real, when one sees the non-existence of that, then that object, then the apprehension of things as being real, which is itself the seed of existence of samsara, is stopped, is negated.
세상 다 다와차바기 흉대 마자래요. 주바 내장 대지 다단다기 똥다외 난주바데 남바 초와 주르 세기 아니 윤전 대치를 안 다라신지 주에 동화다 다기와라신지 주에 동바 다외 다와디 아니 콤발라 때네 어디를 다더니 난주바데 아니 뇽바데 시지주발 초와 주그래 어디 순간 말이.
So the same thing is basic ideas, same thing is said in the introduction to the Middle Way. Chandrakirti says, therefore, by seeing the emptiness of self and mind, a yogi or yogini is liberated. So here, seeing that the self and that which belongs to the self is empty of any kind of intrinsic existence, then the yogi or yogini, through that vision or seeing of that emptiness, is liberated.
Oh yeah, oh tenderly. 아니 다다담 가다가 와라시면 봤다. 내가 파발라 때네. 다 나죠 받에 나봐 주바 줄 시송 받다를 시와 차대. 다음에 받아 라시 메비. 아니 가서를 리베 때라 파와기. 때라 페베 네위 아니 주. 아니 장와 차오. 생이 주 장와 차오. Yeah.
So therefore, because as all of these statements are made, one should understand them as this is as it's stated above, and therefore one needs to develop and to nourish, to create and protect the cause for ascertainment of selflessness. That is the cause for which gives rise to the ascertainment of the absence of self and the non-existence of intrinsic existence or essencelessness of things, and that the cause here is the establishment of things as being selfless and devoid of intrinsic existence.
Oh yeah. 라시메 방에 주장와 차고 주장와 차고 이나 주장와 차고 이나 하모고 다라 주장와 차고 주장와 차고 다나 자바나바 메도 비순 순도이 태양 다 가르사 이제 뽕자 민바 가야 메 일에 메시비 이제 안에 뽕자 민바 안에 셰럽지 따네 안에 된지기 밑에다 차와지 안에 줘봐 공바 다디 남아미도 그송데 오라마 태운 거래. 와. 고른 담보래. 남아미도 비주 비송래. 이라 미셰베 수수라 소베 참아 뽕오. 이라 미셰베 수라 소베 참아 뽕오. 진아 이라 미셰베 수라 소베 참아 뽕오. 예수바 강인바 태양. 셰럽지 따와나 미미바 강인바테 아니 이라 미셰바 미미바 강인바디 일라 미셔바라 광시 일라 제바 메바타니 마인데 아니 일라 제베 아니 가서라 도시메비 냠바 주바다 토마미비 되네 수라서와 온바시바 일라 제바 빵와 점기니 빵와 마인데 시 수라라 일라 미셔바 권배 천주 빵와 송바 남장 다된다 지송구 자리
So then next there's also a statement from the sutra which contains within it the sutra is titled Dharani. Dharani means like a mnemonic device of non-conceptuality. So it functions as like a formula of non-conceptuality, the sutra on the formula of non-conceptuality. With regard to the meaning of that sutra as well, it's not the case that it's talking about a mere abandonment of attention. Rather, it's instead showing that has its intention that having examined the object here by means of wisdom, then one should place the mind such that it's devoid or separated from the focal points of the misapprehension of things as being real. And this is explained, this sutra is discussed actually in the first stages of meditation of the three by Master Kamalashila. And then it's here he cites this sutra, which is called it's actually called the mnemonic device for entering into non-conceptuality.
Oh yeah. 아니 따와나 다 동시 가사다 쳇라 쏘와라 아니 덴바 투마도 따와나 아니 덴바 마미바 라신이 투마 마미바 강인바 대 강인바 대 라신이 투마 마미바기 아니 강라 땡라 바베세기 시 아니 가사다 쳇디 일라 미세바르 가서는 미미바 땡라 바베 시와 팅 오로 강단라 배사기 시 가사다 최대 일라 미셔발라 공지 일라 제바 매바다냐 많이 야.
So here then this sutra which is called the mnemonic formula for engaging in non-conceptuality or entering into non-conceptuality. Here it says that the sutra says one should abandon images of form, etc., by means of non-attention, negation of attention. So the meaning of that sutra, what does the sense of that sutra means that when one examines the basis of emptiness by means of wisdom, then one doesn't observe this basis. One doesn't find the basis as existing in the way that it appears as being real. And that non-observation of the base of emptiness as being real is here what is referred to, that's what is in mind when it says that one doesn't have attention upon that. The attention upon that is referring to the base of emptiness, in this case, the basis of emptiness, meaning the basis of emptiness here would be like the person or the aggregates or any other internal or external phenomenon that one is investigating as the basis of emptiness. So one shouldn't, in that context, the non-observation of the basis there means that one doesn't have attention directed towards that basis, but it is not the case that it's advocating the simple non-existence of attention in any way whatsoever.
이라 미셔바데 아니 마동와 통화 탐바 인세 가산 라임바 권 tim바 임제리 미바 칸 임바데 아니 테리라 마셔바 스네 싱오데 이라 미셔바라 공지 싱오데 이라 미셔바데 아니 춘이 이라 쳐바라 이라 쳐바 메바다니 마인데 두시메베 냠바 주바타르 다트 두시메베 냠주 세지 톱디가라 아니 초화단 두 춘도라바기 아니 강강 온주와 까니 춘도라바 강강 온주와 까샤와 인자 엔자 두시메베 냠바 주바타르 토마메비 튀네 수설어서와 온바셔바 일라셔바 빵바좀니 말이 와 수수메비 냠주데 아니 두시메비 하데 깨와 잠지 아니 뒤지라 가소레 춘도라바 온주와 까니 테나시 말이 손좋아 두시메비 냠주바타르 토마메비 튀네 수라서와 온바셔바 일라셔바 빵바좀지 빵바니 마인데 시 소라라 일라 미셔바 공바야 공배 천정봉와 손바 남장 일라 미셔바 공배 천정봉와 손바 남장 출승제비 셰럽지 렌진지 메데 도자면 메메바 도비 퇴라 냠바 잡아라 공바 손라 다다리 소람나라 소람래 일라 미셔바 공배 천정봉와 손와 세데 아니 출신주 제비 셰럽지 따네 렌진기 메데 도자면 매밤 다 진짜 대나 지고래 생월 매봐 생월 아니 가서 간대라 법시 최전데 매봐 된지 메다 도자마 매봐 또 비트라 냠바 샤발라 광바 송라 야
So here, what's being discussed here is just like what we were talking about previously when we said that in terms of the, within the perspective of the vision which sees dharmata, or reality, in the case of an Arya, for example, within that Arya's direct vision of emptiness, the base of the emptiness is not present. There's no appearance of the base. Rather, the emptiness as such is what appears in that, within the perspective of that vision of reality. And whereas the base, the phenomenon that one has been investigating in order to ascertain its emptiness, that phenomenon as the base does not occur within the context or within the perspective of that kind of vision of reality. And here, Kamala Shila, Master Kamala Shila is saying the same thing, where it says that here where this statement in this sutra, where it says that one doesn't have any kind of attention with respect to phenomena, things such as by not having attention here, one gets rid of the images of form, etc., the physical forms. That's referring, the physical forms, etc., are being referred to as in the same sense as the base of emptiness. And the abandonment of attention towards them is because in the context of that vision of emptiness, there's no appearance of the base; only the emptiness itself appears. And so this is also stated here in the text of the stages of meditation, where it says that when one investigates by means of wisdom, one investigates the basis of emptiness, and when one doesn't observe the base, rather one is only observing the emptiness as such, then within that context, here, that within that it is referring to the vision, within the perspective of that vision of emptiness, then there's no attention, or the mind is not fixed upon the base of emptiness that has that thought, but it's not saying that simply there's no attention whatsoever. It's not stating that there's no simple absence of attention in any way whatsoever. So the reason for that is that here where it says, those who have, someone who's entered into the meditative absorption, which is devoid of ideation, that kind of meditative absorption is where one has obtained a kind of meditative concentration that enables one to entirely stop a sensation. That is, one doesn't experience any kind of physical sensations, and even ideation are ceased within the mind, and the mind's absorbed into that kind of state which is devoid of ideation. That sort of attainment we've achieved from beginninglessly. There's no that sort of absorption is something that we've achieved numberless times beginninglessly, and that sort of absorption is a mere abandonment, is attained by the mere abandonment of attention, which is a excessive attachment towards physical forms and so forth. But that sort of abandonment of attention and is not what is being discussed here in terms of the understanding of emptiness. So this, that statement in the stages of meditation is just where it says that is explaining that where in the scriptures it says that one should meditate without attention, in a form of meditation without attention. And in that way, by that kind of meditation without attention, one abandons the apprehension of images. All of those statements as well are referring to investigating things with a correct kind of analytical wisdom, examining them that way, and then in that way understanding them such that one doesn't observe even an atom of the focal points. The focal points here refer to the fictitious objects which are apprehended as being real. So the apprehension of things as being real has these focal points which are fictitious. So understanding that the wisdom which is investigating things correctly realizes them, understands things such that it doesn't observe even an atom of those fictitious focal points of the apprehension of things as being real. And so with that sort of understanding, then one is to place one's mind in meditative stabilization. And that's the intention of the statement here.
Oh yeah, never saw a combo son as. That comrimdo, and if Kamalachili Conrindo could drink it to Chane. And it dodgy train, and ya, Jia is a pond member. And it don't you could tell a Jagon Kone, and it Tamame body, and it don't like Juba Sumba. Or Timbari. Oh, Gordon Papa legends. Some kind by the Zana Tomba Dosso, some kind by the Zana, and it turned about a change Tomba Dosso. So that the Umaranji Bishon Yeta, Tartan Travis and never to go at it. Rather, not to go at it. In the same kind by the Zana Tomba Dosso. Same kind of Toba Tenderly, Tomba Tonga, the same country Toba Tian, Moni, Gundu Zana, or Tonga Tian, Zana, and that temper has to a Tomba Tordes. Torde, Teta Tobe, and era, temper to be Samami Angela Jugo, She Jumo.
So this is also explained further in the stages of meditation by there's a quotation from the sutra, which is the cloud of the precious ones. And that sutra, the meaning of that sutra as well is not that one should simply abandon or get rid of attention. It doesn't have that sense. Rather, by means of doing investigative meditation about the meaning of emptiness, one enters into the absence of images. One enters into this understanding which is devoid of images. And so that's stated in there. And so the sutra, stages of the intermediate middle stages of meditation text also says that when one in searches for the mind, when one searches for any form of mind, one understands that it's empty. Here, one has to supply that it's ultimately empty, because in this system of Master Kamalashila, we have to qualify it by saying it's ultimately empty, because in this system, he would say, as it's presented in this text, he would say that when one searches the basis of designation for the designated object, it is found, it is findable. So, because it's a Swatantrika Madhyamika text. So, if one looks for the mind, one understands that it's empty, and likewise, the mind by which that is understood, if one looks thoroughly for its nature, then one also finds that is empty as well. And then from understanding that in that way, then one enters into the yoga of absence of images.
Dini is Konto Shabaki. Ani Gamala Shili Shunti, Dini. Ani Chena la Yonso Chabam. Yonso Toba on the Tawani. Ani Chabam, Yonso Toba on the Tawani. Ani Chamamebala, Chamameba, Tombani la Juba Dandi. Ani what had the Ila Shaba Pong Zamdang. Chili and the Chokaya Ila Shaba Pong Zamdang. Sherabji, Oyung Onila, Sherabji, and the Chenam, Oyung Onila, Mijobar. Ani number Midoba need to Jew Missiba, some Oyung Onila, Majabala, 아니 나바 미도바니 주미스바 신도 싸웠단 이노 세다 나바 미도바라 주발랑냐라 소소도베 셰럽지 제니 오용오니라 쩌부쩌바지고 고와 인장 이라 제바 뽕아잠다 셰럽지 오용오니라 미저바 나바 미도바니도 주미스바라 아니 신도 싸웠단 말에
So this also very clearly teaches that it's impossible to enter into non-conceptuality without engaging in analysis of the nature of things by means of wisdom. And so it says this text here shows that one has to initially previously engage in analytical, a thorough investigation or thorough analysis of the object, and then having done that properly, then one enters into the absence of images in this way. However, it's not the case that one that in general one entirely abandons attention to the object, and it's not the case that without investigating the nature of the things with wisdom that one is able to enter into non-conceptuality. That is in fact impossible is extremely clearly stated here.
Sawa temba yino she kujo zhengle dode kujo zhengla teta somba ti da karere sana ngondu ani sushin do jebe chenamji ani rang ge ngola ani soso tobe shera ge rangxin ji ma chuma zhu jemne jebe ani tekwanan ji dawa nyeba ji gogure tenda wi tekwanan ji dawa nyeba mena ani tekwanan ji tenla 아니 미도바 주바 미스바 태권한 지테나 미도바 주바 미스바 숨바당 승야라 태권한 인이 도베 따와니 아니 테네 따와니데 리시 도제 아니 신네 아니 태권한 지 태권선도 자와나 아니 미도바 리시 도메고 주고 와라 인자 태권지 테나 미도바 주바 미스바 숨바당
So then that explanation from this statement in the the Cloud of Jewels Sutra, where it's taught in that way, very clearly shows that that explanation shows that initially one has to correctly analyze things using correct analysis, and then by means of that proper analysis, then one obtains the view of reality. But without doing that properly, then it's absolutely impossible to enter into a non-conceptual understanding of the meaning of reality. So this statement here is saying the same thing, that initially through analytical investigation and analysis, one establishes the view. That establishment of the view is the object that one employs in the development of the understanding, the rational analysis, the awareness which arises from rational analysis of the final nature of things. Initially, that rational awareness is a form of thought, has thought involved in it, but one takes that initial understanding, conceptual understanding of the nature of reality, and then through further development of it and meditative cultivation of it, eventually the conceptual form of the rational awareness is changed into a non-conceptual form of this rational awareness.
Oh yeah, that ni, yishe pambe, jiang yile mi sheba, yile sheba de pambe, ani namba. 既然一人没些把的，那么没就把了就把，那么没到把了就把对吧？让那还想给毛王样吧？安尼干嘛那些来国人来隔壁村他们写歌吧？安尼当把你，
then this shows that the ideas that these evil statements of the Chinese master called Hashang, where he says that he holds that one can enter into non-conceptuality through the abandonment of attention. These have been entirely negated within the stages of meditation, and so there's an instruction that one needs to understand this. One must understand this, the ways in which those bad statements have been negated from the stages of meditation.
아니 춘이 삼지 미자마다 아니 로래 대와서 송바 아니 춘이 파배냠자 그 지다와 신도 식수 아니 로이 가서 삼미도 바인데 삼지 미자마다 이난다 제외 로래 이난 그 제외 로이 무슨래 대와서 송천다 테레데 삼지 미자마다 로래 대와서 송바테 삼미퇴 퇴와다 삼바잠지 또바 롬바 퇴와다 삼바잠지가네 아니 또바 롬바 가비치 대나 파바소소란 게 리바차와 임베 어때 아니 현지 삼지 메자와 덤바 현지 삼지 메자와라 소바 덤바당.
So then the first the last of these stages of meditation says that here, with regard to these statements of that which is inconceivable, here reality, dharmata, is said to be inconceivable, that nature of things is said to be inconceivable. And it's said to be transcend the intellect. Transcending the intellect refers here to the transcendence of any kind of cognition in which there's a dual appearance. It has that kind of sense there. And so those statements here, some people have, in order to negate those statements are made in order to negate the arrogance that one can understand these things by means of can understand this profound meaning by mere hearing and mere reflection upon what one has heard. So these statements are given for that purpose. Papa sosoran
riba chawa yimbe shenji samji majo shenji samji mijawara sowa temba nyamsa sosoran riba chawa yinji shenji ani samji mijawara sowa temba tang.
So those things, the inconceivable nature, and which has transcended the intellect, those are because they are to be intuitively known by the Aryas. Here, intuitively understood by the Aryas refers to the how the Aryas see them within the meditative equipoise, within that kind of vision. And so, therefore, these things are beyond the outside of the range of others' thoughts. Others' thoughts cannot encompass them, and so they're taught as being inconceivable in that way, etc.
Sushi Marimba, Damba Madrubala, and Damba Truba, and Sushi Marimba, Samba Gabichitu, Aniaga, Samji Majava, Lola Devas, Songi, Soso to be share of Sushin to Java Cobamare.
So, however, this that's taught in that way, but this profound meaning, the meaning of the profound reality, which is beyond the nature, which is inconceivable or transcends the intellect. The meaning of that is that it's taught in that way in order to negate someone someone who is thinking about it in the incorrect way, but from having held that profound meaning to be truly, to exist as if it was established as real. And so they're taught for that purpose. And it's taught for that purpose, but these statements are not negations of, are not negating that that is something which is to be correctly investigated by, is not something which is to be correctly analyzed by investigative wisdom. We'll stop there.
Dagi chini sawe ge wadi tenan zhuwa kunla kambe da jeba ji chen lo sa tenbi nyingbo rindu sa ji sho sa shi pe ji chu xin me do cha de ra lin xie yin de jem san ye xin du mi de bu wa ye zhu gen nan da xian la che bo yi tang gu ru ren na men zhe la kan ni ya da ya mi